All right, everybody, welcome back to the next watch along. We're going to provide for your watching and listening entertainment. Now, this event we're going to break down is from Killshot 2019, and it features Alexander Knight versus superstar Ray Waddell. So me, CCW, the owner of the company, figure who better to sit down with and discuss this match than the two participants themselves. First, welcoming to my right, you know him because you hear him every week, the superstar Ray Waddell.
Yes, this was the kickoff to the biggest feud of 2019 between me and the man to my right, Alexander Knight.
Yes, this was the feud that started the year off for me excellent after finishing up with Dakota France to move on to Halloween Hell and main event that show and win match of the year.
You all make me want to say yes.
Yes.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about this match. What are we going into? From what you all have told me, it's the first in a series of matches that you all had, and it really kicked off your feud. And this has not been released on YouTube up until this moment.
Believe it or not, this is the first time I have watched this match since I competed in it. This was the match that started everything off because when me and Ray first got started, I went out and broke a table over his head.
You got a door stuck on my head.
A door. I think a month prior to this, and one of the reasons I'm very proud about this match is it's about actual wrestling ability, not hardcore. I am not a hardcore wrestler, even though I do get booked in them quite often. But
who books that shit?
I know, right? But this right here was about talent and skill and just to show off who is the best wrestlers in the WWA, and that's what all this started out to be.
It did change down the line. At the beginning, it was all about pro wrestling and about the championship. Then eventually, somehow you went and lost that to Lizzie Six, and you killed the business. But right here, you see me entering as WWA champion, which I had won earlier in the year in the war in Indiana's biggest battle royal. This was the light-up gloves era. I still pull those out every now and then.
Well, it should be mentioned that this is a one-camera shot. This is unedited, raw, and uncut. This match right here, you're probably going to see oftentimes the camera might pull away, might get a little blurry. This is as raw as it gets, and I hope people are excited for it because otherwise this is something they wouldn't get to see. If I didn't already say it, this match was held on June 1st, 2019 in Livermore, Kentucky, to a sold-out crowd of 150 seats.
Yeah.
Chairs.
Hey, the crowd's full. They're just dressed like chairs. We had a bad draw. Summer's always a little rough, but we're still drawing more than Raw is right now.
Well, that is a good way of looking at it.
I mean, it could be worse. We could be... I'll save that for a different podcast.
So, Ray, on your list, because we often talk about different wrestlers and things that you'd want to get in the ring with, on your list of people who you like to wrestle, most recently on an episode of the Waddell Show Podcast, you told me that your favorite opponent was Jordan. Where does a guy like Alexander Knight rank up?
Top 5.
So he's 5.
Well, I don't know.
Because if he's top 4, if he's 4, you just said top 4.
Whoever makes a top 4 list, unless it's the Mount Rushmore. But who has oh, look at that. That's cool. I get in the ring real weird.
So Ray sort of passes that question off as he doesn't want to admit that you're number 5 on his list.
If I had to sit down and think, Jordan's on the list.
You're
talking about the WWA, right?
It's going to be real hard for me not to call you by your shoot name.
Tony Evans.
Mr. Knight, what is your... where would you rank Ray in terms of your favorite opponents?
Favorite opponents. I will say this, and I'm not here to
top 20.
Nick Willis is number 1.
Now listen, I'm not here to kiss his ass, and this is a legit shoot. I think Ray is probably the best wrestler in the WWA, hands down.
And I think you're at least second, third, somewhere like that.
Still putting himself first. Jordan Whitaker was always one of my favorites. Dakota France, me and him had chemistry. I love working Dakota France.
I've always felt like I was a lot like Jordan Whitaker, except for I didn't want to take the stupid bumps he took, so he always had a leg up on me.
Ray,
we're both over, but I'm just not going to jump on my head, and he just likes jumping on his head.
Ray, you're the WWA champion going in this. Was this a WWA championship match?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
because I had just beat Josiah in a Fans Bring the Weapons match where I nearly cut his leg off in half. And then Alexander Knight come out and wrapped the door around my head, and that's what kicked this thing off, and this is the title match.
Ray, tell me a little bit about your jacket, because you look like you fell straight out of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What's happening?
Well, I bought one.
Where do you get as a matter of fact, what's going on with your shirt here today? It's like a mix between Captain Lou and Joey Ryan going on over here.
This is an audio thing. It's a floral shirt from Walmart. It was $9.84. But the jacket did come from the internet. The original one I got, I found at the red and white one I got was Cortland Moore's here doing audio, taking pictures of me and making me feel awkward. The original red one I got at like a Ross or something, one of those like discount clothing stores. I was like, fuck it, forget it. I'm gonna buy this here red shirt. And then I thought, well, I'm gonna got purple gear. What am I gonna wear? So I started looking them up, and you know how you talk about stuff out loud, and then your phone just starts giving you advertisements. That happened, and I found this thing called like Hood Fresh or something, and I bought a $70 jacket.
And Mr. Knight, I can't dare call you Alexander. I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. Tell me about your gear here. Did you pull that out of your 2012 repertoire?
I look like I robbed Wish. It was awful. No, actually, I ordered that gear and it looked completely different. Like when I ordered it compared to what it actually showed up to be. I think right about this time I got my newest gear that I have now.
That was a horrible botch. I tried to throw that jacket at you and it got stuck.
There is something about the white that I like more than the black.
Yeah, I don't know. I like both of them. The white still is my favorite though, but I do like the black ones.
What about me? Do you like my red or my purple better?
I don't like neither of them.
Yeah, because you're not color fluent.
I think I choose the red.
So let me ask you a little bit of questions going into the thinking here. What's the psychology of a slow start like this?
We're hoping to get the crowd invested in us. And Alexander Knight's known to be a guy to carry a chain, and it looks like he might have one on him. Where he's kind of playing the ref here, and in the same way playing the crowd, because obviously he has a chain.
It's really odd to me.
Something. He's
Did
putting
you
something
see
in his
it?
pants.
Did you lay eyes on it? Therefore, I don't have anything. If the ref didn't see it, it's not.
I noticed it, but it's really odd to me that Devin the ref didn't notice it.
That is not Devin. That's Ben.
Sorry.
That's the best ref since Tim.
All right, so right now, JT's showing the championship belt and letting everybody know.
If you're going to call him anyone, call him the greatest of all time, Anthony Wayne. Because this match does indeed end with the DDT.
Listen, I had a reoccurring joke I was about to use here, but you're expunging all the referees we've used. So
no, we still got Pukey and old Grandpa, the Allen. Yeah.
Listen, I loved Anthony Wayne because you could hide a chain behind his back, he could never turn and see it.
Look at that strong lockup going around them ropes. Can we get Jake Bravado to go back to being a ref? Because at least when he was a ref, he didn't hit me hard.
Every time you're behind a microphone, you have something bad to say about Jake.
Every time he's in between the ropes, he has something bad to do to me. Give me a concussion, a broken rib or something. Look at me dancing. What am I doing?
Now, I do want to ask you some questions regarding because obviously this match still isn't taken off right off the bat.
This is the filling out process.
That's what I was going to say. You sort of filling each other out.
Believe it or not, this is only like the third or probably second or third time in our careers of knowing each other for 10 years that we actually wrestled in singles matches.
You both have some fond and maybe not so fond memories of Livermore. And a bunch pop out to me in regards to Alexander Knight, like the big fall off the scaffold through tables, a very scary incident.
He cracked the floor.
A very scary incident.
His head.
A very scary incident where you actually took a knee to the face from Jordan and got knocked out and required several stitches to live. Ray, what's been kind of a memorable moment for you in the city of Livermore?
Oh no, you're putting me on the spot. We'll have to come back to that.
I know in your long, illustrious career, there's not many moments to choose from.
The Waddell Show was formed in Livermore, and you hit Nick Depp with a chair. So that's
right. That's right.
I threw CJ off. I threw a guy who his name is not CJ, but his name is Josiah, off of a scaffold, and he botched it and landed on his head. It was a dangerous spot, but
it's going to take some time to get through these.
It went wrong. It's a shoot. It's okay. Everyone knows that no one's actually born with the name Josiah unless they're.
I should let you all know now that if this was a hysteria on YouTube, we would already went to commercial 3 times. All right, here we go. There's the tie-up.
Look, this is Brett Nolan.
We're ready to get into
but
it.
like with more higher cholesterol.
Hey, listen, I do have to say.
Listen. If you can kind of hear it, this small crowd is into this, and it's just the headlock so far.
All 13 people.
Oh.
Well, you probably had a legitimate 125 people here, and to be fair, Livermore is a small town, but they've always gotten behind us too.
Believe it or not, I love Livermore. I've always had fun in Livermore. It's not always been the best crowd, but they're always the loudest for the most part.
Let's hit that double bicep right there. See if this works.
Yeah, that's me trying to figure out how to work.
Mr. Knight, didn't you actually team up with Tracy Smothers to take on that dick flip guy at one point?
Listen, I don't know who that guy is.
Oh, if you watch that very close, I totally missed his foot on that trip. Back to working the headlock.
Listen, I wish every match was like this.
Yeah, until later when I threw you on your head. We'll get to that. The ring's still crying.
I will say that the last time Ray and I did a watch along, we noticed that a lot of people in the crowd had actually passed away. And I'm hoping, seeing as this hasn't been a year since this match has taken place, that no one has passed away.
That's why there's so many empty seats. That's where the dead people would have said.
Oh, okay.
Drop down. Back to the headlock. Hey, this is good. You remember this match? You probably didn't watch it.
I didn't. You are going to have to break down to me what's happening here. What's the thinking here? Anybody blown up yet?
Oh, probably. I did my entrance, didn't I?
Yeah, so did I. Bad time. No, I believe like this was supposed to be strictly about wrestling. Our feud had nothing to do with hardcore or anything at the beginning. So this was let's go out, fill each other out, have a really good match, and test each other on technical wrestling and every way possible.
And for the hip toss. There he goes. Yeah, the whole thing originally, when I remember discussing this with you in the booking room with the booking committee and Bill Watts and all the other guys on our booking committee, we were talking about doing this feud with me and Alexander Knight, and I was like, well, what's it about? And I remember you going off about, it don't always got to be personal. It can just be about the belt. It can just be about who's the best. Y'all are two of the best wrestlers. Go out there and just talk about and prove who's the best. And that's all. If you watch the first promos of this storyline, it's just like, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. Let's prove who the best is. And let's go out here and wrestle for the championship. And we were kind of wanting to put the championship on a pedestal about it. It don't got to be about talking about someone's family. It don't got to be about beating someone up and making them bleed everywhere. It can be about just being the best professional wrestler. There's not enough of that in pro wrestling.
No, I agree. And then, and I did make sure that I wanted you to, and then somehow you didn't settle on that and you wanted it to be a blood feud.
No. If we're going to go there, we're going to tell the truth. You decided it'd be a good idea to put the championship on Lizzie Six. And then you said, but that's okay. I'll let y'all do a death match. That's what happened. Because we were both content with it being just a wrestling thing. And then you thought, you know what would be great? A women's world champion. Not that it's a bad idea, but you can decide for yourself if that worked or not. But originally, it
did work. You know, here goes Ray. He's got to make sure he understands this isn't the podcast. Instead, this is going on YouTube. So we're not going to use any of the sexism or anything like that he's normally used to.
What?
I will say this, though.
I didn't say a woman couldn't. I just said it didn't work with her.
I do think it worked, and I don't think that it worked long term. I do think that it worked for a moment, and that's all I was looking for out of it.
Popping the territory.
It was a good moment.
Now, Mr. Knight, tell me about your feelings having the title pulled out of the angle between the two of you.
You know, believe it or not, I don't know if we've ever discussed this in person, but at the point in time, I was pretty mad about it for a little while. And then by the time the show rolled around, I just realized that if all else fails, we're going to go out and have a good match, and it'll be a moment that'll always be remembered. And, you know, there's probably some kid somewhere, some girl that, you know, has seen that, and, you know, that's something she looks forward to. And I'm not upset about it. Even the day that I lost the belt, I wasn't upset about it. And me acting goofy with my hands.
I just stomped your fingers. They're probably broken.
But we still went on. We still went on and had a very successful.
Yeah, sometimes you just work with what you're given, make the best out of it, and that's what we did. And I mean, it paid off.
Jim Ross is rolling over right now. Worried about your push. Worried about your godforsaken push.
Well, for me is I like old school wrestling. I like slowing down and taking a story. This right here is something that I really enjoy, is to take your time, make something mean something, and pay it off in the end. And that's the thing that I was most looking forward to in this feud. And I'm not saying that it killed the feud, because it didn't. I mean, it won match of the year, feud of the year, and it did. And it was probably the best year I've ever had in wrestling, from start to finish. I mean, I'm not upset about it. I still enjoy it.
Now, had we discussed what
use the ring to your advantage? Oh, that was probably stiff.
Yeah.
Had we discussed what the blow off match would have been if it wasn't in that Halloween Hell death match?
I just know when I had first won the Indiana's Biggest Battle Royal for the title, the idea was to have a longer reign than a month, and we had kind of lined up different competitors that we were going to run with. So only thing I know is, like, at the end of it, it was supposed to have been me either getting the championship back or holding on to it.
But as pro wrestling, plans change, stuff moves forward.
And that's why we ended up doing a bunch of the more personal stuff. And we just kind of had to, like, normally stuff we wouldn't go for. We were just like, screw it. We got to make this work. We got to make this mean something. And then, like, you get a chip on your shoulder, like, okay, well, if it's not for the championship, we're still going to be the main event. And we're still going to make our storyline the most important thing on the show, whether it's for a championship or not.
Now, Alexander, how were you doing out there? Because it looked to me like Tim the ref was legitimately worried.
I think when Ray stomped my head on the apron using the apron to his advantage, he legitimately stomped the shit out of me.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell when your head's covered up. Oh, flipping in neckbreaker. You're like a luchador.
You know, I always try to keep something back, like just randomly throw out stuff for the heck of it. People always say I do the same match or I do some sort of similar of the same matches, but every once in a while I have something that just sets it different that you really can't say that.
You had made mention that you'd listened to Ray and I in our podcast a little bit, but you didn't really listen through the whole thing. And a lot of those, your name comes up quite often. And I think Ray was putting you over for someone that was sort of not necessarily underutilized, but maybe underappreciated in terms of just being able to go out and perform against anybody. Like, oh yeah, just, send Knight out there and he'll be able to have a good match with anybody. Do you feel like there's anybody that you don't have chemistry with in the company?
There was only one person who's not in the company anymore, was Mex, really. Like, me and him never could click. Like, most people I can get in the ring with, and we could figure out something.
I recall this now. It was a running gag when we'd tell you, okay, it's you and Mad Max.
Yeah,
well, you were actually in what was known to be one of probably the worst matches in WWE history with Old School versus New School.
I was not in that. That was Travis Ball.
Same man.
Don't you put that hell on me, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, you wasn't. My bad.
I can't believe you did that. Oh my god.
As a shooter, I thought it was you and Travis Ball.
No way.
It was Otto, wasn't it?
You were working it. No.
Now you're saying you thought he was Otto. I think you thought he was Travis.
I thought it was him. I thought it was High Society against the Old School.
Oh. Don't let it. No.
You had perfected this chin lock. What goes in when you're in wrestling school? How do you perfect that chin lock?
I thought he said, what goes into a chin lock?
A lot of chin and a lot of lock.
Believe it or not, Tyler Hawkins
chin,
showed me how to do a chin lock.
You know, you taught him how to do that chin lock.
Well, that explains why you didn't win that match with that chin lock. Tell me more about what else Tyler Hawkins taught you.
Yeah, that's about it.
Hey, he's made Logan legit into a legit star, okay? Give the guy credit. Oh, and he moves. That hurts a lot more than people think. Oh, God, what was that? I just did the wave.
I think it's probably one of the best second.
Now, Alexander, we had a moment the other day. We had a moment the other day when we were recording a podcast where we talked about how you've been around for a long time too, and you even being underutilized maybe in a lot of facets. Or not underutilized. I don't think you've been underutilized, but maybe underappreciated, especially from the fans. I don't think you're underappreciated from the boys. But from the fans, we also talk about how you pay the same physical price as Ray and I and so many others that's been around for a long time and, used to pretty much bumping on concrete. How does just a simple match like this, sometimes I feel like matches like this are oftentimes harder to have than if you go out and have a gimmick match.
I'm not going to put down a gimmick match, but it is easier in some ways. Like, when you're going like this, you're actually going hard, working hard. And in gimmick matches, there's always certain things you can do where you do it for the pop, and then you got time to rest and recuperate.
It's less bumps in a gimmick match. You can just, it's probably not good for your brain, but it's less falling and getting up. And this, we've already taken 100 damn bumps. And something little there that, not to be the guy giving the wrestling advice, but like, you work my neck. Right now we're in the midst of my comeback here, and then even when I hit you with, here you go back to the neck. Even when I hit you with a neck breaker, it's still a bump, and I held my own neck. You know what I mean? I didn't forget that I just got my neck kicked in for 5 minutes. And that's easy to do once you start to get into your comeback. You have that adrenaline.
Now, Ray stole my spine buster quite a while ago, and I will say that
you stole that from me.
Now, what's he talking about? Why? I think he's just trying to get me hot right now.
I was doing that during one of your many times off.
Listen, I'll never forget the match in Owensboro me and you wrestled, and you did Ray's spine buster on me. and just the look he shot you across the
Yeah,
ring.
Ray Spinebuster, because he had wrestled me and he had seen me do it for 5 years.
Well, what he means by Ray Spinebuster is I tweaked it a little bit to make it a little crappier than the one I do, just so it was a Ray Spinebuster. That's what it is. I'm getting Ray hot enough so that when we record the podcast a little later, we can, really
You're
go
going to make me
into
cuss
it.
on YouTube and we won't get monetized.
We never get monetized. It's the WWA. There's no way to make money, believe me.
To open up the curtain, when we started doing Hysteria, the point was because at that point wrestling was able to be monetized and you could make decent money on YouTube. And then about the time we got everything together to where we were actually going to be putting up videos, they decided wrestling was too violent to monetize. So, I guess it's still cool to have Hysteria and get some views and everything, but we don't make $1. So if you'd like to donate to the GoFundMe,
Yeah, because I
That we
need it after
don't
I
have.
land on
Now,
my head right here.
again, you're going towards the neck. Oh, wave the arms.
Now, both of you were on the top rope, and Donnie Classic should have been instigating a count there to make sure that you come down.
Let's back up. Nope. Whatever I'm trying to do, I'm planning to get it.
Just to let you know, a moment ago, you gave me a back chop. I hate them things.
You got on a singlet and a shirt. What's the worst that could happen?
Stand up, I'll give you one real
Ask
quick.
people like Avispo and Jordan Whitaker and some of those guys when you really used to be a prick.
Now, wait a minute. You know as well as I do, a back chop is meant to send a message. What would you back chop him in this match for? Did he do something to you?
It was probably to get a pop. Now watch him land on his head here. Oh God, that was all your fault. Your head just weighed so much
wait a minute.
the weight over rotated you.
Instantly, it had to be my fault.
It was your fault. Right now we're both just dead.
Alexander, tell me the situation about your head. Why do people make fun of the size of your head?
Apparently, I got a
pumpkin-ass
grapefruit of a head. Like, everywhere I go,
More of a
people
watermelon.
You're like a Nido lantern.
Jesus. Yeah, everywhere I go, people make fun of my head. And the thing is, it's not just WWA. It's everywhere I go in life. People make fun of my head. I'm serious. You think I'm joking? It's
To tell the
for
story
sure.
here a little bit, a little thing we did is we had already did one set of heat on my neck. At this point, I just dropped you in the spine buster and I'm holding my shoulder to show people that I've hurt myself trying to hurt you, and I'm trying to relocate my shoulder at this point. Are you crying right now because of
He
his
said,
head?
it's not even just at the WWA, but everywhere in my life. It literally, there needs to be some sort of intervention down here. The boy's hurt.
See right there, you saw me favoring my shoulder and you've attacked. Out of desperation, I rolled to the floor to get away.
Just stop the damn match. The boy's, he had his head made fun of.
Hey, there's some people you say one thing to make fun of them and they'll quit the business.
As God is my witness, his head is big.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if you can't handle stuff like that, you don't belong in this business anyway.
I couldn't handle that damn head. You gave me a diving headbutt
Sorry, boy.
once and I was never the same.
I'm going to have to bow out of this for a minute. I think the coffee's killing me.
See, first you attack the neck, now you're on the shoulder after I hurt myself with that backdrop.
One of my favorite things is
Look
to
at
pick
Mackie
up-
with his head when they're about to nay-nay.
One of my favorite things is to always work body parts. Just twist it.
What's your favorite body part to work? And is it on you or on someone else's body?
That's been someone
And if you
else's
say the
body.
head, I'm going to break. I promise. I'm going to break.
It probably had to be the arm and the neck. One of the things I like doing is working someone's eye, like dropping the knee in their eyeball or gouging it, stuff like that.
That just sounds brilliant.
It is. It's not fun for them. It is for me.
Oh, I think you might have just stepped on my arm fat there.
Did you have a big bruise the next day?
Starting to get some good heat here now that people know I'm hurt and you're just attacking the injured body part.
Now, and there's some backstage story here too. I know that Knight is fighting through some back pain here, and Ray, I think you're still battling through a broken tailbone. I think to this day that's never really healed correctly.
Yeah, and these hard-ass seats here at the Cortland compound don't help it, but it's okay. It's the stuff I do for the wrestling business.
Why don't you just sit on the floor here, just kind of
Just like Scott Stapp said from Creed, it's my sacrifice. But look at my arm right now. Why'd I got the Terry Funk hand going?
2 months before this was in Livermore where I got knocked unconscious by Jordan. This was just 2 months later.
And look, you said Jordan's your favorite guy to ever wrestle. Have I ever knocked you unconscious?
Almost.
But have I?
No.
We
but-
can get into people knocking people out when we talk about the Halloween Hell match with your shoot punches to the damn head.
The table.
I'll never get over that. I don't know if we're going to do commentary on that, if we should save it or if we should tell it on this one.
I save it. One of my favorite things to do is when people cheer
That really hurts.
for my opponent, I like to point them out and say, this is directly for you. And it just makes them so mad. I love it.
Look right here. This is another thing I stole from Chris Hero, like most of my stuff. But my arms hurt, so I took my elbow pad off of my good arm and put it on my bad arm to try to give it another layer of cushion. But I always feel like I look weird once I take my elbow pads off, so I probably shouldn't have done that. I like to be symmetrical. Like Psycho Sid was able to pull off the one elbow pad thing, but I just can't do it.
You figure if I'm going to work the arm, I'd have a submission for that. I don't.
You get one later.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't got it over or nothing, but you do one.
Now, see, this is what I like about your heel work, is that you can just throw somebody into the post, you can distract Rudy Charles, and then come back to your opponent. And I just think that it's the little things that matter. And by
Rest
the
in
way,
peace, Rudy Charles. He went on to a better place.
as I was naming referees, I was going to name the little guy with the glasses, but I've completely lost his name.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Come on now, the little guy with the glasses we had as a referee for one show. I think he actually.
We had Repic from Eastern Kentucky on one show.
No. This guy's the
He
guy.
almost broke his
This
hand
guy's the
reffing.
guy that trained Ben the ref.
Oh, I know that he wrestled for TSW in Eastern Kentucky. I can't remember his name right now, but I do know that he wrestled as like Dungeon Dragon or something over there under a mask. I probably shouldn't expose his gimmick, should I?
No, you probably shouldn't.
It wasn't Dungeon Dragon. It was some dragon, though. Still picking apart the arm, which picks apart the body, which picks apart the career, which picks apart the life. To quote Taz.
Boys, that's how you do a fucking roll-up.
Now,
If
we're
anybody
on
knows
YouTube.
Schoolboys, it's you.
Beep. We are on YouTube and children are listening. We're trying to avoid the language here.
What we say?
Not we. He.
What'd you say? That's how you do a schoolboy?
That's how you do a beat, schoolboy.
Oh,
Like,
excuse the language.
You get one.
It's in C14.
there are certain things that I remember about matches, and I remember.
Oh, God, he's going for the diving headbutt. If I don't move, I'm dead. Okay, good. I got up. Look at that. That's a back fist. Who does that? Oh,
You
it's
do, and
see,
they
this
hurt.
is the thing is, that's a crappy headbutt. But as you can see here, you've hurt my left arm. I'm left-handed, so that means I have to hit you with my weak arm, which just means you're going to get hit way harder than normal. I cannot protect you. I don't know what I'm doing. Have you ever tried to beat someone up with your bad arm?
No.
It's very difficult.
I don't remember what we did here. Like,
I'm probably about to fall on my head again.
I remember there was one point we both get up and we look at each
Oh,
other.
you got a some kind of version of like a Kimura or something while we're on the top rope. This has definitely been a 5 count. This is a disqualification.
Yeah, but which
I'm
referee
pulling your
did
ear
know?
off at this point. That's real desperation. You gonna name your for me? No. Big back drop, back body drop.
It looked like I didn't make
Back
a full
drop, back
rotation.
body drop. It feels like you've almost landed on your head. That'd have been the end for the ring. Going up for the moonsault, the patent Waddell moonsault that I never miss and I always hit.
Oh, not today, boys.
I hit it,
No.
but you rolled through into the arm bar.
That was a good reversal.
That was good. Fujiwara arm bar right here from Alexander Knight.
Who?
Fujiwara.
I didn't know Mr. Fuji had a last name, but I can tell you right now that was a hell of a reversal. Now, is that something that you all work your way through ahead of the match, or is that something that you just say we're gonna?
We never tried it. I think we just kind of talked about it, and we were like, whatever happens, just get there. I mean, that was pretty clean. You know, probably could have been a little cleaner, but
I don't think most of
What if I missed? The room just popped. What did I?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Well,
Oh, I see.
Put his mouth on the ring and kicked his gun back.
Oh no!
Hey, for anyone out there, look at this. I got him in the Hell's Gates, or what I like to call Ray's Hell. You get it? With the apostrophe S?
That was so quick, we missed it. So you all just rewind that and watch Ray lose his gum out of his mouth
Look, anyone.
and suck it back up off the ring.
Hey, anyone-
You are a sick bastard. You know
This
that?
was before any viruses were out there. I probably wouldn't do that now, but at this point, I didn't care about germs. But you got to think, you know, that chewing gum wrestling helps you from not blowing up. It keeps your mouth from getting dried out, and that's probably why I needed it. I knew I probably had to go 10 more minutes or so.
Don't
Look,
be
that was
saying
pretty.
that.
That was pretty. That was good. You should bring that back.
I need to.
A little roll through, pick up, bob, boom, Kurt Angle thing. Come on, ref that with a 3. You sound like Rocky. Adrian, it was a 3. Hey, that guy in the back ended up doing a tryout for us at one point.
Chuck Little.
Yeah, Chuck Little. He looks like Chuck Liddell, but he's small.
Now
There
here
it is.
comes
There's the chain we knew you had, you dastardly bastard.
I still don't know what you're talking about. Ref didn't see it. It's completely.
So
legal.
here's a good inside question for you.
Oh.
You've got the chain and you're using it in matches,
That's my
and
finish.
you've got this chain tucked in your tights at some point. Has that chain ever dropped down to places it was too difficult to get?
3, the match is over right there, ladies and gentlemen. Big rolling elbow, that usually signals for the finish. The most simple but effective.
Oh, I don't know
Wait,
about
what's
that.
going on? What have you done here?
See, you were the one with the chain the entire time. I don't know
You
what
were
you're
like
talking about.
you're like a police officer
I love
in the
how
90s.
people are getting up and leaving. They're like, okay, match is over.
You're like a police officer in the 90s in Compton, just planting the stuff on the suspect.
Never leave your seat until the show is over, because
Yes.
there always might be something else happening.
Don't leave until we start telling you to please leave so we can clean up. Because some of y'all don't want to leave, but a lot of y'all are ready to beat the traffic.
Now, right now, if you couldn't make that out, Josh Mackey, by orders of Ben the ref, has just ordered the match to restart because Ray cheated with a chain.
That I didn't cheat with.
I
Even though-
seen it around his elbow.
Oh, wait. Oh.
I know,
almost had
like,
me.
coming into this, I was the underdog, and like, basically, I knew every fan in there was like, "Oh yeah, Ray's gonna win this." When the match restarted, the facial expression and the the wind left the room when they restarted the match, and
Well,
everybody was fired up.
Going into this, you had you and Dakota were building up and you were kind of getting higher up on the card. But before that, you were kind of just, like he was saying, a utility player helping get other people over. And sometimes, you get caught this time. But sometimes, you wasn't looked at as the most top guy here. And this was all about, building you back up. Like at this point, you had started using a new finisher. It was all about kind of giving you that credibility in the fans' eyes. And
Now, what are you going for? You've got a second chain.
A third.
third chain, foreign object. Big kick out. Look at that. Look at the. That's when Vince McMahon tells people they need to have good facial expressions. That's what you need right there. Did you look stupid? Yes, but who cares? Because it's pure emotion. That's how you would act if you really thought you had something won and you didn't.
And something I'm very proud of, you look in the background, people are standing up to see what's happening. They are invested in this match. It may have took us 20, 30 minutes to get them there, but yet they're invested. And to me, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, you got to build towards certain things. Not every match can just start off with everybody standing and cheering. You got to start slow and build it up. Or as Tracy's mother said, start slow and taper off.
So I've got to know, because I didn't get an answer to the question. Has the chains in your tights ever given you problems? Have you not been able to get
Got
them?
one
or-
like in your
They're-
butthole? Like right in the
No,
crack?
most of the time they stay right at the waistline. They don't ever go nowhere. The only time I've ever had a problem
You hear this, Ben? Ben the
Is-
ref. Are you listening?
is
You know where to check now.
I put one in my boot one time, and by the end of the match, I believe I was wrestling Vanderpool.
Oh,
it had
no.
it had fell so low that I couldn't get it out.
So Ray just hit his finishing move, the rolling elbow on you.
That time you didn't kick out. You see that? You kicked me so hard in the face that I spun a 360 and still come back with an elbow. I think people thought that was over there too. That moment of hesitation of not being able to get on the cover might have cost me there.
From this angle, Alexander, it looks like you're built like a middle-aged woman. Is
It's
it
just because the shirt's so long, it's gownish.
No, I'm just saying it looks like you're pretty battered here, and
See, me and got the same disease. It's called no assism.
It's all upper body. We're just upside down pair.
That's why his tights slide down. He's known for having the. Sometimes we joked about how you look like Conan or K-Dog from WCW because your shirt would come unbuttoned except for the top button, and then your pants would be hanging off your ass, so you look like a cholo.
start speaking Spanish. I'm getting the hell out of the room.
You got to start doing a bowdy, rowdy. Now it's just breaking down into a slugfest here, and I'm trying to hit people with my right arm, which never works out. Oh, watch out, Ben. And a low blow now. So now you use 3 chains. You planted a chain on me and a low blow.
Listen, I didn't plan anything. I only used 2.
All this happened. It's no wonder.
He said, I might have had 3 chains, but I only used 2.
I mean, if you can't beat Ray with 3 chains and a low blow, it's no wonder why Lizzie Six beat you for the title. You know what I mean? Like,
Going for your newer finish at this point. Now I feel like people know it's coming. Back then, they may not have.
so Jordan's old finisher was called Eat the Feet, right? Do you think your new finish should be called Eat the Taint?
It's called Tainted Love.
You don't believe it or not, I don't
Taste
have
the taint.
I don't have a name for it. I need one.
Taste the taint. I think I just named it.
Oh, kind of cattywampus destroyer type thing. That's a lot easier to do off the top rope. Ooh, double underhook, hanging pile driver. Going for the cover.
I was seriously injured right here at this point in time. Just
Sure
for
it
the
didn't
record.
feel good.
You know, here's the thing. You know, people can listen to these watch-alongs and think, "Oh, well, this is the way this is." Really, the truth is, this match is taking a lot out of you all, and when they say that wrestling is fake, the truth is it's not entirely fake. It hurts. It wears you down. It beats you up. I mean, at 30 years old, I can barely walk, and you guys are beat all to hell too. And matches like this just shave time off
Did
your
you
career.
just shave a couple years off of your life there?
What?
You're not 30 years old. You're like as old as WrestleMania.
Hey,
30 something. No, WrestleMania's 36,
You're 33.
32, 31,
Triple H was the world
30.
champion on Raw.
I
when he
actually
was
might be
33.
28 now. I quit counting.
If you quit counting on me, it don't quit counting itself.
At some point, you get an age where you start counting backwards.
See, at this point, he's done everything he can to beat me and hasn't been able to put me away with chains, low blows, his finishing move, whatever. So now he's injured. The ref's stopping me because this looks like a serious injury after that pile driver, which the pile driver can be a very dangerous move if not done right
But the funny part about it is in real life, I am hurt.
because you're blown up.
Yes. No, because as Chris said, you know, at that point in time, I was
Kayfabe, I'm CCW.
or
Bro.
CCW, I was battling back pain at this point in time really bad.
And it wasn't long after this that you ended up dislocating or breaking your tailbone too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dislocating your tailbone.
It's in the front now.
down.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, here it is. Taste the taint. Boom.
Dropped me right on my head.
That's a receipt for, you know, dumping me off the top rope.
Oh, man.
And no one saw it coming. And I think at this point they had seen the match restart. And they're thinking, well, maybe it's going to restart again. But, you know, the rules never play into the baby faces.
So, Ray, is this the first time? This is your championship loss after winning it at Indiana's biggest battle royal.
Yes.
So this is a pretty big moment.
Well, I guess I had it a few months because that was at the end of February. And now here we are June 1st.
Yeah, and you know, the truth is, in the long-term scheme of things, there's always more money in the heel having the belt and the babyface chasing after it anyway. Guys, what would you rate your match on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best?
4 out of 10.
Are you trying to get heat with me?
That's what I said last time, too.
I don't know. I think, you know, pacing the match, telling a story, and taking our time, I would probably put it at an 8.
I think it was really good. I think it's one of those matches that if we had a bigger crowd, I think it could have got over even more. That
Well,
little kid's mad.
as you can tell, first time released on Hysteria, Alexander Knight, your WWA champion. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us all together as one big group. It's been a great time. Maybe we can break down your Halloween Hell match or any other great classics you've had. And until next time.
I'm angry.
Farewell.